As always, the conversations we have really are a two-way street. And I've said many times, and I want to say it quite publicly, that you have a really good eye for watching the sequences and movement into the swing, and then being able to go backwards from that point to isolate this is happening. The other thing is, we obviously agree a lot about timing, and it's something that it's very visual, and it's very easy to see once you're on it. But when we talk about guys being late, a lot of times the guy says, I thought I started on time. So I also look at how our body's positioned. Because if I'm in a good athletic position, my moves are quicker and easier. But if my body's really in a position where it's kind of fighting asymmetrically, like a stay back, then I might think I'm moving on time, but because there's more work required to move from that position, that I'm actually late. And then if I'm in a bad position when I'm starting up, then I'm going to fight that from the standpoint of how I move forward. Also we talked about the front leg. And what people don't realize is that we talked about the front side move being a really kind of a negative for a hitter. Because when the front side takes over the move, there's a lot of things that are going to happen that probably aren't in the best benefit for the hitter. So a lot of times we talk about is that even though my front leg looks like it's going forward, it's still connected. We're still keeping them connected where the front side is not stepping away from the back side.
And the word stride itself kind of like
yes,
gives way to a thought of
stepping away.
I need to step away from my body, outside my body.
And then we talked a lot, and I think a couple of years ago we talked about understanding what it is to pick up underneath and create that, I hate to use the word pressure, but we keep everything connected. And I like to say now that we're working in the middle, we're keeping the middle, the center of mass, everything's centered, whatever you want to say, center of gravity, whatever it is, it's in the middle, which means balance. And being able to kind of hold that, because that allows me to be able to fire the backside through, and I need a little bit of resistance on the front leg when I swing and also when I ride. So we talked a lot about how do you make up the time between a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, at 3.5, 350 milliseconds from release to a 85-mile-an-hour slider, which is 450 milliseconds. So 100 milliseconds doesn't sound like much, and it really isn't, but it feels like eternity if you're early. So if we can get down and maintain that resistance, we can get down, our backside can just make that little shift move. And I can guarantee you, then you're consuming the time and being able to still stay in position. And I think this is where people misunderstand that is staying back. I think people talk about staying back, not staying back, but not being lunged forward.
Right.
And that's a shoulder move or barrel move, rather than just being able to stay back. And we feel that right from the back, which just allows me to consume the time difference between the top end fastball and the whatever breaking pitch I'm seeing, in order that I can still make a pretty clean move into the front side to be able to maintain a line. Because if the front side compromises, I'm really
that fastball going in your room, your fastball would be there. Your changeup is probably
still out there.
6 feet out there.
So I've got to consume enough time to get it to a point where I can drive through it.
Yeah, so that's the time. So this is distance, but it's also time. But I always like to think about that changeup's out here.
When the
Your fastball's here. So how do you make that?
That's your right.
Right.
Because it's really not a function of.
And to think you're going to hold,
Can't.
fastball go, or hold. Up here, the problem is both are a move of a rush.
The minute I'm down, I gotta rush. So that's what we talk about when you see.
And what happens if the changeups
starts moving? Good luck.
Moving as well, plus the differential in the speed.
And I'm not going to make up for that differential by swinging harder.
Yeah.
Or trying to get my barrel there. Because the chances are, the minute I try to get my barrel there, I'm going to go off plane, which leaves me really limited contact and probably not even effective contact. Because I can't hit through. And we've talked a lot about being able to hit through spin, and it's a difference. And
spin will jump like crazy.
No, because if you hit through spin, it's automatic backspin.
Yeah.
And that speaks for itself. And there'll be times we've talked about, there's times we're going to topspin balls. I mean, it's not a perfect game. But being able to affect a swing where at least I can be in a good position to launch my swing.
Well, yeah, but you can get, on a curveball, you can get a double
Oh, yeah.
all the way out here.
Well, Phil, here's the thing is, we
And
think
I
it's
can
way
hit
out.
a gap here and I, or whatever.
you have contact.
Home run, double, but I have a chance of, on the off, you're getting your doubles really on your off speed. On your
Mhm.
curveballs, breaking balls. That's where a lot of the doubles come from, it's the breaking balls.
Agreed.
Because you can pick up the curveballs.
Not saying we don't get them
Here.
off fastballs,
Right.
but it's a set exchange where the off speed isn't beating me.
Right.
But the thing is, people talk about sitting, we never really wanna concede fastball. So like I said, we talk about timing. We might be sitting off speed, but we're still not conceding a fastball. I'm not gonna sit there and try to, modify my move to handle an 83-mile-an-hour pitch. But what I'm going to do is still move on my fastball timing. I'm not gonna concede the fastball. And trust that I'll be able to get the pitch recognition as I'm moving forward clean, because the sight picture changes. We've talked a lot about that, whether it's seeing fingers on the ball or being able to get spin almost immediately out of hand. These are the precursors saying this is what's coming, but we don't have time to think about it, just absorb what we see. And that's the problem. A lot of people want to say, oh, it's a curveball. That time a curveball just blew past you. But it's being able to move in a manner that we're able to get the body to work in its best, most efficient movement, and still allow me to take up time, consume a little bit of time, that I can still take a swing that can take me through the off speed. And it's funny because you talk about, we feel sometimes we're really way out in front to hit a pitch, but we're really not. But it was that sense of riding where we feel like we're way out, but we're really not as far as we think. Like, man, that wasn't that far away from where I hit the fastball. But the reality being, it felt different. But again, then the other thing is when guys start going shoulder, then everything gets, their whole perception changes because I'm going this way. There's no one I know that can make a shoulder move that's not moving the head. And as we found out with swing and miss, when that head moves, either into the stance or into the swing, you're not gonna have the same perspective that you need. Your perception is completely off where balls really are. But if you can maintain, like we talked about the sandbag drill or cornel, if we can maintain that sight vision, it's a game changer.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's all built in. And even if you knew you're looking for a pitch, that move of time is built in already. So I'm gonna use that move whether I'm looking for it or not looking for it, because it's built into my swing already to get that time.
Well, the other
I
thing
can
that,
go, or I can ride.
and here's the thing is we talked
And when I
about,
ride and catch it right,
oh God.
it jumps.
But then we talk about now when guys don't move on time or have bad moves, then you have that element of rush. I gotta go. My body has to fire now, where the whole perspective changes. Where now, even if you've made everything clean, you can still get late just because of bad body move, because again, you're consuming milliseconds, moving poorly, you're in some position where now I gotta rush to the ball. And a lot of, hitters, obviously big league hitters, they've seen a lot of pitches in their life. And you'll see they'll get frustrated and go, I should've hit that ball better. But, there was some element off. We talk about the ability to stay in the middle, because the minute you have a front side move, this is gonna take over. This whole chain takes over. I've gotta go out and around.
And then when pitchers see that, you just told them what ball you can hit,
More importantly.
and they catch it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And then, like I said, remember, my perspective is changing, so I really don't know the boundaries. And so we talk about, I may not be sure where that pitch is on the plate or not. And then it becomes almost, that grindy defensive kind of a rush swing and just a per to contact, per to collision, rather than, and again, being able like, oh no, that's off.
You can't check a rush.
You can't check a rush.
So I think the check swing is also built in.
Or a good take.
Yeah. So if you can take at the last second in a ride, you've built in so much time. Your last decision is out here in this process.
Mm-hmm.
I can go out here and still hold because.
Okay. When you start thinking, we talk about the number, we use that number 150 milliseconds. That's probably the time that we really down, and the 150 milliseconds to the swing to contact. which is not, it's, just over a tenth of a second. But when you realize 150 milliseconds, and if you use that as a baseline, I want to be able to have that 150 at the end of that time frame. So the more time I had ahead of that, I've got a better pitch decision window, and I've got feeling of more time. But the things I have to avoid is, and again, we talk again about balance, and yes, it's my bias, and anybody disagrees with it, they're welcome to it. But when I'm in balance and I'm centered, there's no panic. I mean, there's no distraction. But the minute I'm off balance, things are gonna happen. And everybody moves differently based on how their body's designed. And there are people that can be farther forward, but they still maintain balance. There are most people are here, they're affected, but there's, again, we talked about the outliers. But as long as I'm moving in a very consistent, center-supported position, I have a completely different mindset as well, because I'm clear. The minute we're off, so we start thinking about all those little things that go wrong. The minute the head moves, the brain is looking to rebalance. When we talk about counterbalances, we don't control that. Earlier I was talking about the startle reflex, right? 5 milliseconds. But the brain processes fast. It didn't think about it, Doug's gonna poke me in the eye, it automatically went to the startle reflex, which is very, very quick, because the brain can recognize things. It's doing a lot of things. So, we don't wanna think in the box. But we wanna be as free and just be able to just absorb as much information without what I call distractions. So the brain gets distracted if it's going off balance, because it's going to shoot to fire muscles subconsciously to keep me in balance. Counterbalances, these are things that are going to be actually clicking away at the brain. So the cleaner I can be and land, it's really a game changer.
And it changes the pitch perception. So there's a lot of hitters like that ball's in, no it's not, it's a strike. That ball's out, no it's not, it's a strike. Your perception of this pitch changes. It's just like putting in golf.
Absolutely.
And so you've out of position, have to make up time to get to position, but also your head has changed the perception of that pitch as you're trying to do that.
And then we start thinking about big moves.
And you think you're on it, but man, I think I'm on it. No.
Now we also think about how, as we move, we make big moves, people have some big moves or big rhythms. That's also consuming space up here.
Mm-hmm.
I want as nothing in there, as least as possible. And we talk like, go see the ball. Relax, go see the ball. Reduce tension. And there's the thing, I see a lot of people getting these big moves, and there's a lot of upper body tension. Two things to know about upper body tension. One, if you've got tension in your shoulders, you are not in your legs. Mm-hmm. Okay, you have separated. And the second is, tension also means upper body tension is, my mind's holding that tension. The body reacts to that. So the more relaxed I can be, better I'm gonna be. And I've asked questions of big leaguers all the way down to like 10-year-olds. When you're tense, are you fast or slow? And just about everyone goes slow. Why would I ever wanna put my body in a position where I'm slow? But that's where you see a lot of the guys going in these big tension moves, and they're trying to grind and try to move and try to get the barrel going because they have to. They're actually fighting their body, but they're not fighting from a good position. They're compensating and doing the best they can to try and create an outcome. And that's why a lot of the exit velocity training that's going on from the top of the game down is kind of hurting hitters too. Because ultimately, when I square balls up, they're gonna get it all. My job is, I square balls up, good things are gonna happen. But I'm not sitting there trying to say, I'm trying to hit this ball as humanly hard as I can, because our brain doesn't work that way. If I tell you to go hit that ball as hard as you can, I guarantee you, 99% of people are gonna go right to the shoulder.
And so if I told you, hey Doug, you need to increase your exit velocity, the natural thought process would be
swing harder.
Swing harder.
Or practice, here's the other thing, is a lot of people are practicing trying to hit balls hard from like a tee, or toss situation or anything, or BP. But when you look at those swings, like, will that translate? No, it's not gonna translate. Because being on time, seeing the ball, being on time, taking a good swing that allows you to stay through the ball, that's gonna create consistent exit velocities. Trying to, create outcomes is not going to create the consistency needed for a hitter. And yeah, it might work to a certain point. Again, it might be, a 15-year-old going into high school, or 18-year-old going into college, at some point, it's not going to work. It's going to fatally flaw the swing, because ultimately as pitching gets better, I have to maintain adjustability.
Mhm.
I have to maintain body sequences that allow me to be as effective as I can in a pretty big zone against a lot of pitches.
And consistent over a long season.
Yeah, and when it comes to big leagues, that's a long season. And it has the ups and downs. I have to adjust, but the biggest adjustment, if I can maintain a pretty close degree of timing, I'm going to be okay. And a hitter can be on great time and be 0 for 8 with, 6 lineouts. And, the bottom line will change.
Right.
But it's not about those 6 lineouts, it's about the next series, the next game, the next couple of weeks, how to dial in. But when we
You
start
can
thinking,
get hot by a good take.
absolutely, man, that feels good.
Yeah, I got that. I got it. I see it.
I'm on that.
Yeah.
But then we talk back to the exit velocity and trying to overswing. The problem is, I never feel comfortable. It's like the donkey hat with the thought of, in order to hit a ball hard or far, I have to swing hard. That's really not true. I'm not saying you swing slow, but you have to think slow. You have to think about, get on plane. And I don't worry about.
And we apply that concept all the time. It's
Yeah.
slow as fast.
And it does. But the thing is, a lot of people think I gotta generate barrel speed, or I gotta generate a hard swing. And,
What
so
are you gonna compromise to get there?
to get there? And
There's
it's
so
like-
many layers, and that's why we're talking about vision and time, because you're compromising something.
2 out of 3.
And what does every hitter want to be able to do? They want to be able to see the ball.
Yeah. So the first thing is,
How bad does that feel when you're like, I'm not seeing it.
I get that call. I'm not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it, Doug. I'm
Yeah.
not seeing it. Or, man, Doug, I feel great. I'm seeing the ball.
And then you do that, good.
Or
Whatever you're doing,
I'm on time, or I feel late, or I feel off.
And that's what
Actually, I've heard I feel off. Well, what does off mean?
it's usually timing related.
Yeah.
Or just, I'm not seeing as well, or,
So these,
ups and downs.
so what the downs are a breakdown, because sometimes you go through a series and you're facing really pitchy.
Okay, yeah, and you're
You
gonna
might-
look at it. But it could be fatigue.
Yeah.
It could be just, and like I said, there are minor things that I've done to hitters at every level, that like things about that big, where suddenly go, oh man, that feels great. But a lot of it's body positioning, because, okay, now you can make the move you need to, but just be, like, so we talked about being on your back leg, or in your back leg, or turned over your back leg. Those things have a completely different outcome the minute they happen. They're gonna consume time, and unless your compensation's right on, it's gonna be difficult to be consistent. And, once you start cleaning things up, like I said, you start feeling, man, I have more control, I'm more confident because I'm feeling good here, there's not a lot of pieces. So by eliminating a lot of unnecessary moving pieces that compromise timing, and if they compromise timing, they're gonna compromise vision, it cleans up, it makes things more efficient. And, working with the framework that every hitter does move differently. One guy does this, one guy does that. Some guys hang and work under, a lot of people then hang and work out, so you never wanna work out. We don't wanna be going that way, no diagonals. But the normal movement of the body, just like when we throw, is going to be backside creates rotation that allows me to extend. So I can get extension with my throwing arm, because obviously I don't wanna throw across here. Wherever I'm going, I still want to be able to hit my target, but I'm not gonna hit that target very well from here. But same thing with hitting. So if I can get to a good position and everything here now controls my move, which it should, we're gonna be in a good place, backside hitting. But again, the backside has to really be able to work into the front side and through it, rather than twist. But a lot of people are mistaken. The minute I see the diagonal of the front hip turning, and this is forced when somebody's turning, I'm not going anywhere. This backside is shut off. It won't work. So what we wanna be able to do is still feel that we can go.
And you can't catch this pitch and this pitch,
No.
that's a little bit slower.
But then the thing you look at when you talk about the front hip, a lot of people don't realize they see the front hip moving, right? I said, well, when you watch the front hip move, let's see what the back hip's doing. Because the back hip, just like when I throw, the back hip goes in, and as it's going, it turns. The back side makes the move. But if I don't do that, if I do this backside's not moving, the back leg's dead, and all I can relate to is this diagonal of my body here, trying to get to something, which leaves me exposed to a lot of other potential problems when it comes to different pitches, different locations. But if I'm in here, this opens the front side, you know? We won't get into it, we talked about precursor movements, there's lots of things the body gets used to doing. And people have, you know, see something and they hold on like, well, that's what he's doing, but maybe that's not what they're doing. But when the human body works within its range of motion, there's lots of things you see, but what you surmise is causing it may not actually be doing it. But I think thinking a passive front side or just neutral front side, but still maintaining that idea, that resistance into the front side. But the minute that front side moves, takes over the swing, takes over the move forward, we're in compensation city. And that means you're gonna be grinding and there's not gonna be a lot of consistency.
A lot of the guys that showed up on the high swing and miss were early hip guys. There's a big difference between early hip and still have the back leg driving, or hip that has some openness because of you having, there's a big difference. But on video, you might say, oh, well, he's so many degrees here. Well, there's a big difference between opening now and leaving the back leg, and then
having the back leg still open.
And then you know, swinging through balls that are spiked in the curve balls in the dirt,
yeah.
Versus.
And what you see is when a lot of the front hip, like you'll see, some guys will see that, wow, look how fast the hip's opening, but I tell them it's a backside move that's still opening it. And some guys can look like they're opening before they've got the front side down. But that's a precursor move that the body knows what it needs to do, but it's not turning this way. It's going because we're in anticipation of a move. And that anticipation of the move is something I've done 1,000 times, so my body is already synced into that sequence. Mm-hmm. And they sequence upright. But if you try to move that hip first, your sequences are gonna fail. You know, and people can bring out the outliers. There's a couple outliers come to mind.
And you have to have everything on point to be able, everything else has to be a compensator for that move.
But again,
and how consistent can you do?
Where's your adjustability?
Right.
You know, and yeah, I will agree, strength is an adjustability. You know, but again, there's a lot of very, very super strong people in the world who can't hit. And like I said, so strength complements athletic, efficient body movement, but it doesn't define it. So if you tell a guy just go get strong, I'm gonna kind of say no. Strength is always good, but it's like, how do you want to get strong? What do you want to be strong in? You see a lot of the younger players will start really trying to muscle up, and they lose a lot of flexibility here. And I've seen a lot of players come back after, had 15 home run seasons, say, thinking 25, 30, right? So they get in it and they get really tight because they haven't worked in a lot of mobility. And suddenly now, because they're tighter, they're making shoulder moves. They can't work underneath as easily. They cannot get the backside working. So they start separating off. And that can run into a certain amount of pitches, but definitely at the big leagues, you're not gonna do that too long because you're gonna get pinpointed, they're gonna get exploited, they're gonna know where the holes are. Pitchers are always looking for your holes. Pitchers, the advanced group, and all the people involved in the early analytics are gonna be looking for your perception of your hole. Our job is constantly cleaning up a little bit.
Well, and the smart ones don't have to look at the data to see the holes, because you might not have a hole today, you might be clean today.
Yes.
And you're pitching to the analytics that he has a hole there. It might not be there, you gotta watch. The worst hitters in whatever level will have a day.
Absolutely.
And they might move better on that day.
They might be on.
And you gotta watch and read those things. But it's interesting, even the bad hitters have good days because they can move better. And when they do, they hit better.
Or the perception. It's funny because as a hitter, there's so many things. We do a lot of work here, as you know, having body fields. And you saw major leaguers down to college and high school players being able to tell you exactly what they're feeling and being right on, knowing what their issues were. I broke posture, went to the mouth balls of my feet, lost my back knee, whatever the case would be. They're able to make enough moves to be identified in their body where things needed to be. So by doing that, they're able to replicate a consistent, reinforce a a practice swing that's gonna be closer in line to what they're gonna affect in the game.
So you said something yesterday that I've still been thinking about, and
Sounds like a rabbit hole.
well, mentally for me is always a rabbit hole, yeah. But you start talking about how many practice swings do we take? We need to have a practice swing that is our swing, and you can refine your swing through your practice swing, and you have started to film and critique hitters through their practice swing.
Yes, because we look at, it's not the, and again, you know,
There's feel versus all that, but
how do you want your body to work?
how about we get a practice swing that maybe is
As close as possible. So, like we talked about working the line and, you know, telling hitters we don't want any diagonals in our swing. A diagonal would be going across the body at any point in time. I want everything kind of staying in the line, honoring this side of a line, sitting inside of a line, whatever you want to do. But if your practice swing is consistently doing something else, and we take more practice swings than we take actual physical in-game swing, so every practice swing I take is actually conditioning me and reinforcing a bad habit, something that's not going to give me what I want in a game. Where it's like, even like I said, just being able to just say, okay, I want to stay down and through, or the case, that my practice swing in most cases has to kind of emulate what my swing is. And we can always go to what I call the outliers, where, I mean, the practice swings are just different thoughts.
But we can classify those as feel swings.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
because-
feel something with this.
Mhm. And
But
it doesn't look like that.
But then I can also, let's do a normal swing in a dit-ups, or sometimes the practice swings are not looking, and so guys don't know what a practice swing, so maybe they're lacking some feel.
If you ever looked at his on deck swing, it's like, what is that? His swing looked nothing like that because of the way he moved, but the way it worked for him that was his thought process to create what came out. But most of us aren't like that, you know? And the same thing applies, is that work to the simplest efficiency. So I really want to kind of feel all my moves in my practice swing. We talked about being able to just feel how many times I can just come down in a good position, you know, being able to land the center, and, you know, being able to work from that, right from the backside in the front side to hold resistance for the off speed. And then keep a line, get the idea of my swing, not what the barrel's doing. But I see so many people get to a point where they start thinking where the barrel's gonna go and I'm gonna do that, and it's like, if that's taking you diagonal, we're in trouble. So let the body create, let the bat follow. Let the body create the move, let the hands create the forward move, let the hands bring everything through, because we do wanna follow the hands just as we throw. We don't get the body ahead of the hands when we throw. But the body and the posterior chain supports the move the same way it should do in our swing. So if we can just get that feel, we're probably in a pretty good place. But when you're working against it, so if someone says swing a line and your practice swing is that or that, well, you're not feeling something, you're actually moving away from feel. So when I can ask you, say, do you feel your legs? Well, when your shoulders move like this, there's no way you can feel your legs. But when I can ask hitters saying, okay, relax in your leg, you feel your legs? Yeah, I can feel my legs. So the minute that happens, I don't want to get checked, because now we understand, now I can feel my lower half.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel the strength of my body, creating a balanced, easy, powerful move that doesn't look powerful. But it's more powerful than anything I can do from the upper body. So, being able to take apart a practice
the body
swing.
working all together is always gonna generate more force than half of it.
And if I look at over 90% of hitters I've worked with, when I compare what the practice swing is to the elements in their swing, I can usually see that's an element in your practice swing, here it is in your regular swing.
Right, so it's like for coaches, it's a swing assessment. So if you got a brand new hitter in, hey, go in there, and I saw this, go in there, take some swings, you already have an idea,
Yeah.
and you didn't have to watch 15 locations of 15 tosses to see. I mean, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
And then you know if they're gonna be able to get through a ball or not.
Yeah, and it's like, I know the first timer you saw, but within a short period of time, suddenly that swing changed.
Mm-hmm.
But I also looked at when he came out, the confidence changed.
Mhm.
There was Booth's like, oh yeah, wow, man, that felt good. And you know, you take the grind out, and it's like, it's a different feel, but it's a positive feel. And an experienced hitter goes, I know how that's gonna work. Because grind, time, grind, rush, you know?
And all of a sudden you're hitting balls all over the park versus, you know, someone yelling at you, you know, hit the ball the other way. Well, my swing can't go that way, but now it can, and I don't have to, I'm not picking pitches to do that with. I'm just going everywhere. I'm going through every pitch because I'm in a line with those pitches. If I get through, I can go anywhere with any pitch, and I don't even worry about that.
Yeah, and like I said, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about something I think we're both really solid on is land the line. And we talked about landing that forearm in a line and being able to work. But this isn't a line, but this could be. It depends on the hitter. But we land in that line, we can now hit any ball, anywhere on the plate, any pitch, hard to any field. We're not, there's no limitation. We have, I talk about here, we have every option. But the minute we're out here, and our hands are outside, we're in trouble. The minute our hands are hidden, we're in trouble. We have dramatically limited our ability to exercise options. We don't have many options at all. But if we're here, we can move more athletically, we can hold, put on the brakes if we have to. We've got so much more control here. And, you know, when I see people like going at big moves here, and like I said, I heard a lot of people talk about the minute that shoulder engages, I know we're compensating. And it's, you know, bar the door, man. Because it's, once I separate, I'm in my shoulders. There's only one place my shoulders take me, that's up and out. And there are people that are in here, but they're here, and they can work underneath. I make that first move underneath, fine. But I found that very few people can actually master that. Tennis players can get underneath to work because the way they move. But again, when people get in that bar, and again, this is an upper body move that's taken me off my base. I want to have my base create and be part of this drive forward. But again, so being able to land that line is, I think, something I would articulate to any hitter. Just land the line. And then I cheat, because I say, land that line in the middle. Right? Land the middle. So when I come down, I feel like I'm down rather than still going forward.
Well, some guys rhythm into that. So they might be, you know, positive or negative, not too often negative, but it's more positive
into it.
Land, and the timing of it is first toe touch is usually what we see. You need to get it by then, and obviously you'll have it then, but then, well, you got the trigger there.
But the other thing is when you do that, now feel how easy your ride becomes.
Yeah, and then
I can ride just a little bit. Remember,
especially breaking balls coming into you, you know, I'm thinking righty, lefty here, but, or even away from you, you have options now.
Yeah,
and this is what I love. You know, a lot of times we think we always want to see from the side view. I've changed, so this is why BB pitchers can see a lot. You can see line and direction, and that's why those guys that throw BP are always telling you came off the ball. What's the verbal cues from the BB pitcher? They know if you come off the ball, if you're crossing your line, if you're losing, because they see that. You also see direction from behind, but you also, you know, you see what you want to see from the side, but
side is, I love behind. I've always loved being.
So you can see balance from the side and where their hands in relation.
We can actually see. When I look at the side, I can like extrapolate from moves from like pitcher view. But that video from the side, that view of the side gives me, okay, I see where that little piece went wrong.
Right. You can estimate.
I can.
Side view, front view.
There's my pedestal. Oops. Knee, you know, back knee collapse or early collapse or, you know, head move. Something moved. I can see what caused the problem. You know, I can have a pretty good idea if it's in pitcher's view, but to be absolute, it gives me a timing, so I've had both. But there's no doubt that any move that gets me in, that I see this position, either from the back or the front, really gives you like, so am I on that ball or am I going to be off that ball?
And it's hard for me to get side views a lot of times, but I've become pretty happy with seeing the pitch. So I can see the pitch, I can see the time, I can see the line.
And that's what I love about
pitcher's view. And then I can
view.
estimate probably the side view. For the most part, and vice versa.
If you've seen it again, if you've seen it enough, you can actually be really pretty close to, okay, I kind of know. But then if you need that, if I need that follow-up work on a hitter, it's like, okay, I just want to see for sure. Okay, no, it wasn't that, it was this. But we got the same problem, but what caused it?
And a lot of times I'll see that when the guys are a little off, they're not landing that line, and then they're clip the ball coming off the ball
Yeah.
versus giving yourself a little bit more time there to get there.
Yeah, and that gives us this side of the zone too.
Well, so I can take care of this, and I can trust this, and I can trust my disability.
Yeah,
Trusting that you can cover, I mean, it's a mental unlock. And usually that's what happens here is, man, I can hit that pitch. I've never hit that pitch. Or I've never hit that pitch in that
Like
direction
that.
before.
but wow, look at that, it's true.
And a lot of things that we saw today is, the sound in here is pretty impressive. And so like, you can hear sound in here of different balls coming off the bat.
Yeah, when we hear sound, the one thing I know that we've talked about is when it gets louder, I know the hitter's got the ground. And everybody's hearing get the ground, but do they really understand the ground? And do you really understand what we mean by the lower half? But when you've got that ground and that sequence right there, the ball sounds different. And again, hitting coaches around the world, coordinators, guys I've talked like, man, that ball just sounds different off his bat. And I always look and say, okay, however they're working, they're grounded better. Their sequence is strong from the ground because that's where it comes from. But like I said, this sounds kind of wet, like a wet newspaper if they're just kind of coming around the ball. Might be hitting it, but it's a complete difference when they get that feeling because that ball just, the decibels jump and it's like that. But again, that's not fast as them trying to do something more. And I think a couple guys said, man, it felt like an aiming swing. And the ball just.
And the biggest concern I'm seeing too is the posture break.
Mm-hmm. Well, some of that can be induced by a lot of there's a lot of ideas out there. And as people are going to teach what they want to teach, that's fine. But when we start looking at how the body works, once again, how the components stay together in a balanced move. But again, we look at any posture move as a waste of time. But it's also going to create a compensation because now this isn't going to be.
I mean, I can see your legs, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's little things, and remember when we're talking milliseconds that we're trying to trim or hold on to. Now this anytime I break posture, I'm going to a front side move. It's just not going to not happen. So then compensation begins. So it's key is saying, okay, so why are we losing posture? Where's the cause? Are my glutes too far over my feet? And every hitter is a little different.
Some guys are just trying so hard to get a hit.
Oh yeah.
That they're.
Yeah, or when you see like guys sees the ball really good.
And they're doing the opposite of what they should.
Yeah. Or they're feeling hot and they're like, oh, I see a pitch I can really get, and they try too hard rather than just, oh, got my pitch, stay chill, right? It's just like, oh yeah, and then they try a little harder now instead of driving that ball. Now they hit 6-3 short, you're out.
The guys that go 5 for 5 versus 3 for 5, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you go 3 for 3, and a lot of guys will go 3 for 5 because they'll try to add on to it. The guys that go 5 for 5.
Yeah, but let's face it, the big leagues, it's tough to be 5 for 5.
Well, right, but the idea is I'm going to keep on doing what got me 3 for 3.
Well, the one thing we see is when guys start getting hot, you start thinking about the result rather than the field.
Yeah, I don't know how to handle hot.
Yeah, so it's
Sometimes
like,
it's a mental
expect-
thing.
Yeah, or you get guys are starting to drive the ball. When we talk about drive the ball, I'm not talking just hitting balls over the fence. I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
being able to drive the ball. Suddenly now, the hitter gets used to that, and they go up there expecting to drive the ball, so they try to drive the ball. And I've seen it with a lot of the college coaches who call me like 3 weeks after guys are doing well, look for them trying to do too much because now they're expecting to do that rather than just let it come out.
So what's our approach then? If our approach is always in our intent, is always what?
Go see the ball.
Go see the ball.
And trust that everything that you've done works.
There's nothing built in to go see the ball related to anything causing negative.
Yeah. And so if you're really working on seeing the ball, we feel that if you've done enough work, it's built in there. Your body knows what to do. It's when we get caught in between bad body positions that we freeze or we feel we can't move and we'll take pitches. But again, the key is being like, if you just go see the ball, your body knows what to do. How many practice swings have you taken? How many moves have you made? I mean, it's all built in. But it's when we try to do too much or put in a position where we have to fight to do more, it changes the whole sequence. So the best idea is, like I said, in that box, I'm gonna go see the ball. I'm gonna go early, which to me is on time, and just go see the ball.
And that can be practiced in front toss.
Be front
Timing
toss.
can be
You
practiced
saw
in
us in
front toss.
BP and in live and in on machine work. Everything's got a timing quotient to get the
Everything.
feeling of being able to move, maintain center, get to a good position, and stay in almost like a tension-free position, rather than, work hard and then once I tense up, I'm gonna be
And
compensated.
you'll say the verbal go in the front toss to make sure we're always doing timing here, and we're not gonna teach you to wait and swing fast at the last second because a front toss
No.
ball is slow.
Yeah, well, we're not too slow.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and you're throwing it firm at a certain distance, but it's going to translate because there's a timing start time, and they know their start time, and you have to still control that. It's not start early, just go and crash and leave your
Yeah.
backside.
It's feel that move.
Right, and then you'll see ball flight and how it comes off. And
Well, as you've been in here and seeing it, a lot of things we're looking at is, I don't care how hard you hit a ball. I feel guys, great miss. But what I need to see in everything we do is that we're maintaining those levels I know that I need in a game. That I'm not making a compromised move, and whether it be in like a front toss situation or a BP situation where I'm just, donkey hacking, that's not gonna play in the game. So what I have to do, everything I do has to be something that translates right to moment in time when I'm facing 95. So again, it's better, the moves have to be the same. Front toss situations, a lot of guys that go downhill, you're gonna crash and I'm not really in a good position. Plus my brain really doesn't like to be here. There's a lot of things are going on here. When people see that separation move, they again, we talked earlier, it's counterbalance for my head's rushing forward, so I'm gonna counterbalance. Body's always seeking balance, brain does not wanna fall over. And you don't realize, I just do this, we've done that one a couple of years ago. My brain fired muscles to make sure that I didn't fall over.
Mhm.
So I mean, those are subconscious, out of my control, they happen. So the key is, if that's happening, now, I'm out of position, obviously, and my brain is occupied, distracted by not falling over, so the least thing it's worried about is what's happening out there. So we talk about clarity of vision, how it all fits together, same thing. But that has to be in our BP, that has to be in our machine work. All that has to be based on same move. Same move. And we work
And
in
the
a-
more you know yourself, the more you can fix yourself.
and those fixes come easy. You saw high school kids fixing themselves. You saw big leaguer putting in hits, and just the joy and the confidence of like, oh, I feel that, oh, easy fix, look back, yeah, that was it. So once you know what's the matter, you're not lost. You're confident, like, oh, okay, I know what happened. And that
it's
can be
cool.
trained.
Through the learning process, you'll say, I don't care how you hit it.
Yeah,
I don't care if you hit it. Just let yourself move.
yeah. Let's see the good move. Let's see the good
Yeah.
path. Let's see the good
Yeah,
line.
you
Let's
might
see
be
the
hitting
energy.
right now, but you're going too much to hitting. Let's move. Put the move first, not the hit, not the contact first.
Well, I've told guys that even in like a front toss situation, they may not really hit a ball really well, right? Like that again, that swing might actually just annihilate a ball because in front toss the contact was here. In a game it might have been here, whatever the case may be. But the moves are right. And then we talk a lot about, oh, that's a great miss. Ooh, good miss. But we're looking at it always, if the energy is going towards the pitcher at the end, if I'm going through that line, we know that's good. Because over time, those are gonna be the results. Those are gonna give us the results we need. That's gonna give us good feels, good contact, good consistency, and that's gonna lead over time to, the statistical results. But just trying to create an outcome, we talk about chasing hits. You don't wanna chase hits. Chase feels? Okay, I might go with that, but better than chasing a field, learn your feels. And be able to refine your feels and work, because you always have a certain amount of flexibility on how you wanna move and do things.
Well, so if you don't get a pitch to hit in a game, you can say, I felt great, and that's a mental confidence builder.
Just being able, and think, when you can lay off bad pitches,
Yeah.
huge.
When we talk about, you'll see an increase in walks.
Yeah. One thing is I look at, if I see a
We're not
hitter
trying to
that's-
walk.
No.
If you throw in one walk, a good at-bat walk, not purposely not taking
Yeah.
pitches, but a good at-bat walk,
That's a
it's
confidence builder.
such a win, for your team, for you. I think more confidence comes from, I can see better because that's real. If I get a fluke hit, that's kind of a fake, I feel better because I know I'll have one little notch in the hit comp. But it's kind of a fake confidence because you really maybe.
You feel that you got lucky.
Yeah.
You shipped it.
But sometimes, man, I just really feel it. I can see it today.
And again,
I'm
those are
moving
content
good.
that's
And
what
I don't
you.
have to get hit today.
I'm seeing you good.
Yeah.
That's why I look at, over time, you know, saying, okay, what's going on with the hitter's walk ratio?
Yeah.
I've got a new hitter that I'm just
Walk
ecstatic about.
ratio, swing and miss, comes
Yeah.
down a little bit,
So you realize,
contact.
so if his walk ratio's coming up, he's laying off tough pitches. And, you know, I know that's a positive, like, wow, the walk ratio's much different than ever in his career, that's a good sign. So you realize like, ooh, now it's, now just refine that, so that means things are better,
And most guys get hot, it starts from a walk sometimes.
okay?
Sometimes it hit, sometimes it's hit because, okay, I finally got one.
Yeah,
But a lot of times it's really real when you, yeah, I'm starting to see a little bit better. And then it's, you know, it's, you're 2 for 2s with a couple walks.
that breaks you out.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said one of the biggest things is, like I said, guys are gonna, you know, people don't realize nobody can maintain the intensity for 160 games. This is a very tough game. And nothing we say is gonna make, you know, anybody believe that this is simple. There's no simple way to hit. These are really gifted athletes who have to work. It's just not easy.
Right.
But
And
if
hitting in
you're
high
able
school is
to
not
be
easy
consistent-
these
no,
days.
that's what we talked
I
about.
mean, you know, we talked about your son facing
95.
some dudes.
Yeah.
I'm like, my gosh, that's difficult for 16, 17, 18.
But when you turn around and you realize that over time, if we're moving right and we're confident and we understand and are able to get past the, you know, the tough times, because hey, you can square the ball up 3 times in a game and, you know, wind up over 3. And, you know, that's okay, as long as you're doing and realize I'm getting good swings off, even, hey, I have to have a good strike or a bad strike. I saw the ball real good, just missed it. Okay, we're going to strike out. I'm not saying you go up there to strike out, but it's gonna happen. But did you get blown away or were you on it? What did you learn from it? You know, hey, I saw he had this, okay. There's always a process there, but, you know, if a guy feels he had a good swing and just missed, there's a little bit of confidence there. He's not gonna be happy he missed it, but it's like, I was all over it. You know, rather than that, you know, that guy just, you know, ate your cheese.
Right.
So, you know, the difference of psychology, because, you know, we've got to maintain, you know, confidence. Because this is a humbling game.
Right.
And there's highs and lows, so the key is just kind of like limit how low you're gonna go and also kind of limit how high you're gonna go. But, you know, you can't concentrate on, you know, outcome. You know, because sometimes, you know, you have a great series and, you know,
It's
you
the
went up
best
1 for
struggle.
12.
The best struggle.
Yeah, and you turn around and 2 weeks later, you're 7 for
So
15.
Your confidence level can maybe help you reduce
Maintain.
the length of a struggle.
Yeah, and then they think, okay, so why am I struggling? Okay, we look at fatigue, injury, compensation, all these things that happen just based on external factors in the game. Something's off a little bit, but the more a hitter knows about his body, the sooner he can kind of, oh, there I want to be here. Okay, that's better. And that's what we talk about, being able to say, hey, I feel a little better today. Good. That builds, because like, I'm feeling good today. The worst thing is when I go, I mean, I feel terrible, I'm lost. You know, God, I'm just grinding. They realize, okay, what's causing all that? So the more they know about their body and what causes that, they can kind of limit how deep that scuffle goes. And, you know, you see guys that, you know, they'll have that roller coaster, but that roller coaster doesn't just bottom out, you know. And, you know, when you get hot, you just gotta ride that thing. So, had fun.
Yeah. Thank you.